Aloha. It is just after 6 o'clock. We're supposed to get going here at 6 o'clock. We're in Alton, Illinois, and we are waiting for clearance from the lock just below us here in Alton, which is very close to St. Louis, to go through the locks. They told us to call back at 6:45, so I'm just updating my charts, getting them ready to go down the Mississippi. So follow along with our boat story today on the bridge here on Mahalo as we go south on the Mississippi. In this episode of our Boat Stories Great Loop Adventure, we leave Alton, Illinois, near St. Louis, heading south on the Mississippi to the Kaskaskia Lock Anchorage. Aloha, we are Sava, Cynthia, and Alex, along with our two dogs, Lucy and Shadow. We're traveling America's Great Loop, a 6,000-mile North American waterway from Florida to Canada and back down via the Mississippi. Follow us on this journey on our boat called Mahalo. 3 lone fishermen going out here. Fog is rolling in, as you can see, and the lock is actually right there. Melvin Price lock number 26. So the lockmaster just told us to stop going out. I was going out, as you can see. I've already moved, and told us to come over here and just park it till he's ready for us. I think he's trying to sneak in a barge going down, but we'll see how that works out. Right now we're just on a hold. If it is a barge, could be 90 minutes before we get our turn to go down the lock going south on the Mississippi. So first boat's out, leaving. We are still docked here, but the fog is burning up. We did get one more batch of laundry done. That's a good thing. Our partner here is leaving as well, and so all these looper boats are heading off to the lock. About 9 of us this morning in this morning's fleet, heading south on the Mississippi. So follow along as we enter the first lock, Melvin Price, right up here. You'll see it right through the fog right there. All right, Alex is just getting the lines cleared up, tied up, so that they don't accidentally slip into the water and go into the props. You see our fleet up ahead, and the Melvin Price, I believe it's Melvin Price lock straight ahead. Just came out of the Alton Marina, so here we go. Melvin Price lock, and this is us entering right now. I can hardly see. The sun is blinding me a little bit. Wind is coming from the back. We are in. Good Day Sunshine is the last boat in, and they are passing us even as we speak. And with that, the gates are closing. So the gates come up from the bottom. They're not doors in this one, and they should be popping up in just a second. These locks are really big on the Mississippi. We haven't seen any structures like this at all. So there it is right there. It just came up. We see that bar right there. It can raise higher, but it doesn't need to. It just needs to be that high. It came up from the bottom.
We're on the floating hole in the lock, and it's absolutely ear-piercing. Every one of the poles as they go down squeals, and of course we have headsets on, so it's absolutely outrageously loud. As you can see, the gate in the back, it had come up to that certain level. As we're dropping, you can just see the bridge disappearing behind. But it is so noisy in this lock. We've never had this sound where it just squeals unmercifully. There are 9 looper boats in the lock, and I think every one of us is getting to hear this cacophony of noise.
Okay, to the southbound craft at Alton Marina.
pipe is playing a different tune. Alex, it's pretty loud, isn't it? It's very bright out. I had Alex run go get his sunglasses. I know it's like watching paint dry, but if you look at one of the bars here along the lock wall, you can see the piston moving down. And Alex is holding on to the lower one. So there's a lower one, and then there's this higher one. We tried to lasso the higher one, but we couldn't. Not sure how much of this sound you all can dig. I know, I think I'm done.
We look out the back, you can see the waterfall. We're dropping 22.5 feet today, but amazing waterfall coming out that door, and you see how that door sort of slid up and is holding us here. We peek around the corner, yeah, full of sunshine and all the other looper boats. Time to go back to the bridge, but ready to head out. What are your thoughts about this bollard here?
Well, it's just like in the Trent Severn on the second to last lock.
Do you like these bollards or not?
Yeah.
I like the fact that you have a lower one, which you were able to use quite easily.
Yep.
Now, if we look in the end of the lock, obviously the sun is directly in our eyes, but you can see the lock opening. It's a giant door at the end. We're so tiny compared to this whole lock here. But we should be able to head out in just a moment. Aloha. So this lock was on 14, channel 14 on the radio. The next one is going to be on channel 12. That is the sign that we can exit, so the boats in the front are going to get out. And then we're going to pass the arch and then go on to the next lock at the chain of rocks, I believe is where
Don't
that
let
is.
go, Alex. We're leaving the lock. We were monitoring 3 channels, so we had 72 with the default of 16. 72 is what all the loopers are on together this morning. And then we had 14 because that's what the lock was on. Alex is still outside. Go ahead and put the stanchion down, Alex, for safety. Hold on to something and get the stanchion down. And we're following the looper boats out. There's a lot of debris in the lock here. Alex, Azava, there's a large log coming up at 1 o'clock. You see it? And so we're just slowly making our way out. And we are boat number 8 of the 9 loopers that are in there. And there is a trawler behind us. So as you can see, this huge log floating in here in the lock. You don't want to hit this with your prop. There's some smaller logs over there, not too worried about those. But look at this monster. This you don't want to hit. And sometimes they're curved and have longer pieces hanging down in the water. But boy, that's a wicked one. Between this lock and the next lock is...
I'm not sure. I think it's an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half. We're going to try to keep up with the other looper boats.
But we want to get a good video of the arch and us, so we may have to slow down.
There's a good view of those floating posts. They have highs and lows like we showed you earlier. Water pouring out here, drainage. So I was saying what those floating posts are called.
Oh, sometimes they're referred to as pins by the lockmasters or bollards.
Today's men were calling them pins, and I had not heard that expression before. So every day you learn something, right? I want to show you from the back. Look at the structure for the spillway, and we'll see the last little looper boat exiting.
Quick view of our fleet right here. You also see the barges. Some are fleeting, some are definitely wrecks. They're never gonna go again, but that's what we're looking at right now. We got one boat behind us down that way. Then we got one barge coming straight from the starboard side. Lucy is just taking it easy right here. Cynthia's getting some rest from all the laundry. She's been doing laundry all night long.
Makes me very happy. Both queen beds are changed linens. We have all the towels washed, all the clothes washed. It makes me happy.
Yeah, but you've been going since like
Oh yeah,
2 o'clock yesterday afternoon, or 3 o'clock when we arrived.
Just keep it going. Now I took a break at 11 o'clock last night, and then I popped up at 5 to throw in the last sheet, and then start 2 more loads. Towels were done. So.
Yeah, we may have overdone the power on the power post. We burned out our plug, but it's a really old plug as well. I mean, it's probably from maybe when the boat was new. Alex is fixing it right now. I'm putting a new plug on, but those plugs don't come cheap. They're $150 for a new plug that plugs to the shore power. On this side, we can see that barges that need to be repaired here can go in, or even tugs can go in, get lifted up out of the water, get worked on, bottom painted or whatever needs to be done, and then put back in. So here's another dry dock. Virginia Ingram, she's in there getting fixed or repaired or worked on. But it looks like a whole area where they can have that done. To the right, first barge we're passing today, passing starboard to starboard. It just came out. It's going to get really busy. So I'm told here in the St. Louis area is extremely busy for port traffic and barge traffic. Hence the barge saying go left, because you don't want to collide with them. There's a little boat behind us. Hopefully they're paying attention.
So our fellow looper boats had alerted us to this sizable monster. Look at that log. It almost looks like a gator. It's a big one. I would say it's like 6 feet. And then it has parts that are down below. Yeah, almost like a huge railroad tie. So, if you have friends, let me know. So this is the dry dock over here. The radio chatter, and the guys are saying the Mississippi has gotten a lot of debris.
Chain of rocks, bro, up ahead. Yes, it is. As Jeremy told our group, for the love of God, go to the left. Oh, we have an option, right? Mile to the left and mile to the right. There you go.
I don't know if you heard all that radio, but it's hilarious.
So to the right, you have that sign, chain of rocks. You don't want to go that way. You want to make sure you follow the sign. It says left, chain of rocks. To the left, you want to go to the canal. You know, last year, I think a boat went over there. It was last year or before.
Very expensive boat.
Very expensive boat, and it never got rescued. Anyway, so there's the sign. That goes to the locks. All right, so here's that chain of rocks, and there you can see chain rocks to the right hand side, and that sign says go left.
So we're coming up to
We got
this
Eddie's here.
branch in the road, in the river I mean, and you can see where it tells you with a big sign to stay to the left. The river becomes very shallow. You can see where it's just literally some eddies and whirlpooling going on here.
And there's the canal next to the spillway over there, and we have like a lot of currents trying to get in here, so we're trying to go to the left and stay up with the other loopers. And here's Dud behind the wheel.
So what's
I'm trying to take
complicating
pictures.
this, as Alex films, what complicates this is, see the barge oncoming? We have an oncoming barge, and we are trying to stay here to the left.
What I wanted to show you all are these logs. If you look right there on the top, there's a whole row of logs and debris on the top. It just goes to show how high up this water goes at times. There's a little guy behind us right there, one of the looper boats. But yeah, it's amazing how much of a difference this can be when the water really comes down.
We're coming up to a large red sign on this channel, and it says restricted bank line, keep back 100 feet.
Just impressed with this big tree trunk right up there on the very top of this canal. We know how it got there, but that's a big one. Aloha, we're approaching the Chain of Rocks lock right here, close to St. Louis. It is a no-wake zone in here. They just reminded us where the barges are all tied up. So we gotta slow down, get our wake down. But it's ready for us. That's a good thing. We can drive right in. Aloha. So here you can see all the fleeting barges and loaded barges that are being loaded right here, right in front of the Chain of Locks chamber. There's our fleet of boats right there, looper boats. Train is just pulling out with, looks like oil cars. We are entering the Chain of Rocks lock. Say that many times fast. Chain of Rocks lock. Yeah.
It has 2 chambers.
Yes.
So how do we know which one to choose?
The lockmaster told us which one to go.
Okay.
Yeah. They may use one for up and down, or they may use just one depending how they feel. Or they can service one and keep the other one going. Yeah. A number of these locks will have 2 lock chambers, so they can go up and down at the same time.
All right, I'm gonna go see if I can help Alex. I'll show you him. He's here on the side, ready. Lucy, of course, she does locks from up here, where she lets people know how to do locks. She herself does not get her paws dirty.
She's the princess.
So Alex is opening the stanchion here and hooking it, which is where I don't like seeing him standing in front of the open water like this.
We'll do the starboard. Usually we like to choose the lock, the wall that is with the wind. So the wind is coming from the starboard side. We want to be on the port side, so it pushes us against the wall. Here we're going to have to fight a little bit to keep on the wall. Fortunately, it's a really tall lock, so it shouldn't affect us too much. But lower locks, it gets a little more difficult. Alright, we got one more coming in right there. The last one in this lock. This is Chain of Rocks lock. Boy, that's a tongue twister for me. And everyone's got a bollard, one of the pins here. This is Shadow. He jumped up on the seat.
Shadow, up.
He hasn't always been in the locks out. Usually they're downstairs in the locks, but we're trying to get them accustomed to the locks and being out. So he has to look out and make sure everything is okie dokie.
Yes, see, there's a boat coming in.
His tail's wagging. Some people
Anxiety,
say
and then he licks my hand because it's anxiety.
that he's got his mother. All right, so there you go. Hopefully the wall's coming up, I think, in just a second. Again, it comes up from the bottom. See it bubbling over there. There it is right there. You can see it coming out of the water. Just enough for us to go down the lock. So Alex, tell us how far down we're going today.
17.5 feet.
And you've got it around the bollard. This one only has one, right? Doesn't have one higher or lower, just one.
Yeah.
Doesn't make the squeaking sound. It's making the drum sound.
Yep.
The good news is the lock is opening. We're down 17.5 feet. And we didn't have to touch the slimy wall, and it is slimy. Wow. But there's our exit, and we're off to St. Louis. That's our next highlight of the trip before we continue further down the Mississippi today.
So it's pretty exciting. We can actually see the arch through the bridges up ahead. Now, it's too far for the GoPro, or too obscured, I think, but we can see it. It's pretty cool.
And our window's closed, but it's still very cold.
We're gonna go under this bridge. Actually, we're gonna go under like 3 or 4 bridges. And the arch is actually, I will point with my finger, it is over in that direction. And you can see it between the bridges now. Now, whether you actually see it, I'm not sure. We'll definitely get better pictures as we get closer. Under a bridge, and there's current.
Yeah, the Mississippi is off to the right, the chain of rocks, so the current is coming in from the right, and it's going to do some number on us now.
And you can also see those white signage on the pylon of the bridge, 30, 40, 50, showing you how many feet the water can go up. Oh, there's a whole bunch of guys lined up. Look at this. I was just asking Zava about current here, and he just explained that we actually got a boost.
Yeah, probably about 3 or 4 miles an hour going down, which is really nice. I just throttled back and we're going 11 miles an hour.
So
And we were going
cool.
6.5 a moment ago, or 7.
We were surprised because all of a sudden the looper boats in front of us are like so far ahead, but they got that boost as well. So
You got caught holding that little bunny so we get a picture of the 50 over.
one of the mini bridges as you enter St. Louis. So here is a really nice shot with the bridge, and then you can see the arch over on my right. And we're getting closer. So here's your first view of the arch in its entirety. We have one more bridge obstructing a little bit. But how cool, we are passing the city center of St. Louis.
So yeah, underneath this bridge is where the light rail is.
Oh, he's right, the light rail passes. We don't have one going right now, but it does pass right underneath the road bridge. The light rail for the St. Louis. Very cool, Alex, I forgot about that. Up at the very top are little windows that a limited amount of visitors can look through. And then after you're done, then you ride your little egg-like car back down again through the wall.
Okay, Papa and Grandma, can you guys on 72 right now? Over. Roger, on 72. Where are they?
Now it was time for the iconic St. Louis Arch photo op, thanks to a fellow looper. Thank you for joining us on part 1 of our first day down the Mississippi, all the way here to the St. Louis Arch. We love your comments and questions. On your way out, please be so kind and hit that like button and make sure to subscribe. It makes a big difference to our channel. Join us again next time for part 2. Aloha!